I just want to talk about a heated topic that I have seen on the internet, which is about getting your dog from a breeder rather than a shelter. Lumi is obviously from a breeder, and that's why I feel like I need to open up about this topic. If you are about to get your own dog, this video is not about telling you what to do, it's just about exploring both sides of this topic. It's not like I deep dive into this every day or investigate this topic heavily. So the things that I say might be wrong, and also I come from a small country, so we have different rules and regulations than other countries out there. I love to educate myself, so the things that I say could possibly change down the line. I just think it's super important that we all have critical thinking skills and are open to other people's views and opinions. Let's get into it. I strongly believe that dog owners have a huge responsibility even before they bring the dog home. It starts with research and trying to find out what kind of dog suits you and your family. It is a big mistake that a lot of people make before they get their dog. A small example is that a lot of families who want to have a dog that fits in will just go with a Labrador. I am sure that you have seen it or heard it, like, just go with a Labrador, they are easy to train and they will fit in with any family. It is such a common breed that even non-dog lovers are aware of them being known as good dogs. I am not a dog breed expert or anything, and if you want a more educational video about the Labrador topic, I will link some videos below in the description from Stoney. He is just much better at explaining this than I am. There is something called the English Labrador and the Field Labrador. In some of his videos, he clearly shows the differences in their energy levels and their different kind of behavior and approach to play or training. The Field Labrador is a more energetic Labrador that needs exercise, play, and probably also some brain stimulation. In short, it actually might not fit the semi-busy family. Whereas the Old English Labrador is probably more the type of personality people talk about when they say a Labrador is a simple dog. It is not as energetic as the Field Labrador, it will not be as eager to please, and it is fine with having a relaxing day. Of course, we all know that there can be the occasional breed out there that defies the descriptions of the breed standards. We have all met one. What I'm trying to say is that it is so easy to skip research and just go with the Labrador without even knowing what kind and what it will require of you. This is not just for the Labrador, but any breed out there. I think a lot of dogs end up in shelters because people have no idea what type of dog they're getting themselves. Every country works differently, and I live in a very small country called Denmark. We are about 6 million people, and for the most of it, I would say we are a dog-loving country. We do not have stray dogs here. If people see a loose dog, they will take action immediately. It is also a rule in Denmark that all dogs need to be registered in the Danish dog registry and have a chip or ear tattoo. Those two things can show who the dog belongs to. It is also a rule that they wear a name tag with your address on it and your name on it. If your dog is found not bearing a name tag, you will be given a fine. The dog or puppy has to be registered before they are 8 weeks old, so it will be the breeder who has to deal with this, as you are not allowed to sell a puppy before they are 8 weeks old. In Denmark, you can be a registered breeder within something called the Danish Kennel Club, also just called DKK. I believe this is the equivalent to the AKC, American Kennel Club, or CKC in North America. This means that you follow official rules and ethical standards for breeding dogs. It's like being part of a certified system that makes sure the dogs are healthy, well cared for, and properly documented. If you are a DKK registered breeder in Denmark, you are held to a clear set of standards. You are only allowed to breed dogs that have passed a specific health check and temperament evaluations to ensure the welfare and quality of the breed. Every dog born is officially registered and receives a certified pedigree documented its family tree. As a DKK breeder, you are limited to 2 litters per year tax-free, since it's classified as a hobby rather than a business. You must also follow strict rules regarding how the dogs are kept, socialized, and treated. In return, you are allowed to use the DKK name, which carries trust and credibility, and you can provide buyers with official registration papers for the puppies. If you are not a part of the Danish Kennel Club, you can still legally breed dogs in Denmark, but you aren't required to follow the same strict guidelines. These breeders can breed more than 2 litters a year, however, they will be taxed and it will be seen as a business. This was the simplest of explanations. It is a little bit more complicated, but I just don't want to get into all of that. It is a little bit harder for these breeders to demonstrate that their dogs come from healthy and ethical bred lines compared to a DKK breeder. With that said, I don't want to paint a bad picture of these breeders because I know that there are good and legitimate ones out there, but unfortunately there are just so many bad ones who only do this for money and trying to avoid taxes and no care of the dog or buyers. Of course, I have also heard about bad breeders within the Danish Kennel Club who find ways to cheat the system. There will always be a few bad apples among good ones, but for as far as I know, if they are discovered, they will be kicked out of DKK, which will leave them with a bad reputation. And this is where we as buyers of dogs have our responsibility to do our research, even if we choose a certified breeder. Remember, just because a breeder is certified doesn't always mean that they do ethical breeding. I think there's a common misconception that buying a dog from an ethical breeder somehow contributes to the shelter dog problem. It is such a shame that social media has created this false narrative, because instead of the whole adopt don't shop movement, it should probably be called something like #MakeInformedChoices. The root of the problem here is unethical breeding, backyard breeders, and random people who think it's just fun or cute to let their dogs have puppies without any real planning. Often it's driven by profit, with no thoughts for the dog's health, welfare, or future. These are the practices that contribute to overpopulation and shelter numbers. An ethical breeder doesn't breed for money, and I know for some of you it might sound unbelievable that people would do this without getting any profits, but breeding ethically is not a profitable business. It is something that they do because they care for the preservation and betterment of the breed. A respectable breeder will be there for you before you even adopt the dog until the day the dog passes away. They will take the dog back in a heartbeat if you for whatever reason cannot keep it. They will rehome or keep the dog themselves to avoid them ending up in a shelter. Some even offer to refund a small portion of the original purchase price when a dog is returned. It will usually say in the contract what the terms of condition is. I know for a fact that my breeder would take Lumi back in a heartbeat, and either she would keep her or find a perfect Czechoslovakian wolf dog experienced home for her. It is crazy to me how social media campaigns really can influence people and their opinions. It seems like people do not want to do their own research or use any form of critical thinking skills. They see a short video about adopt, don't shop, and then they just tunnel vision on that. I know people's hearts are in the right place, but please educate your minds too. I wish social media would focus more on teaching people to do extensive research before buying a dog. In that way, we could stop the money flow to these horrible people who only think about quick profits. The Adopt Don't Shop campaign has unfortunately tainted a bad light on respectable breeding, which is really unfair. Many, if not most of us dog owners who have bought our dogs from a respectable ethical breeder have spent a lot of time researching and looking for the right breeder with the right mindset and love towards the breed. I spent about 2 to 3 years watching how my breeder worked before deciding that she was the one. Just editing Mia here, I just want to say that even though I spend a lot of time researching and watching over my breeder, there's still things I would have done differently today. But we all learn, and so do I. So I'm not perfect either, and yeah, we're just here to learn. Sorry, back to the video. Choosing a responsibly bred dog often reflects a deeper level of commitment and responsibility than simply getting a dog from just anywhere. Owners of a responsibly bred dog do not support a backyard breeder or some random neighbor's poodle mix project. We don't hand money to people who have little to no care of the dogs after they leave their home. We have invested time, research, and yes, a lot of money into making sure that our dogs come from ethical breeders who will take them back if life ever changes. These dogs won't end up in shelters. They will go home. So in my eyes, choosing a dog from a truly ethical breeder might actually be one of the most responsible things you can do. With that said, of course, I support giving dogs from shelters a loving forever home, but we do need to focus more on the root problems here, and stop blaming the ones who are making informed, responsible choices. Behind every shelter dog you see, there is an owner who made an irresponsible choice of getting a dog from a place that clearly doesn't care about where the dog ends up after they have sold it. Ethical breeding aims to prevent that by ensuring the dog has a safety net. There's absolutely nothing wrong with getting a dog from a shelter, but I feel like we forget that it can actually also come with a huge backpack of issues. If a shelter dog comes from the street, you have a lot of work ahead of you as they have grown up with a mind of their own. Or if it is a replacement dog from a family, you just don't know what to expect from the dog. What happened in its first years of life? Did they do all the important training, or are you now the one who have to correct past mistakes? This can be a huge task for inexperienced dog owners, and sometimes it ends up in the dog being sent back to the shelter. I wish to the core of my bones that there would be much stricter laws and regulations so we could avoid these backyard breeders or any other unethical breeding. I wish it was illegal because it might stop some of the big flow of shelter dogs. Because clearly a lot of people still just go buy these dogs because it is easy, cheap, and fast, and they do not need to be approved as a dog owner, which is sad. It would be nice if we could implement a mandatory dog course for people who want to own a dog. Here, dog trainers could help future dog owners pick the right breed for them and give them direction on where and how to find respectable breeders. I think this would show more commitment and seriousness in people's will to own a dog. Also, if I was a breeder, I would love for future dog owners to be able to show that they actually have a certificate that proves that they are serious and have had training in owning a dog even before getting one. I definitely think it will lower the chances of dogs being sent back or end up in shelters in general. For this video, I have been in contact with a Danish rescue shelter called Dyrevandet. I asked them what breeds they typically end up with and what breeds are hard to rehome. As I expected, it is the high-drive dogs like Malinois and German Shepherds, especially German Shepherd mixes. Luckily, they told me that it's not often they see Czechoslovakian wolf dogs, and of course they don't see any wolf dog or hybrids because they're not even legal in Denmark. They told me these high-drive breeds often do not do well with being in a shelter. That's why I hope we can implement stricter regulations for these breeds. Too often, they pay the price for poor breeding and inexperienced owners who aren't equipped to handle their energy. Anyway, all I have left to say is, I don't judge how or where you got your dog from, but please consider your choices in the future. When I was young and lived at home, our family dogs has also been sheltered dogs, street dogs, and Coco was from an accidental litter. I just wanted to make this video to hopefully open people's minds a little and also give you a small understanding of my decision making when it comes to Lumi. In the future, I might get a shelter dog or get a Czechoslovakian wolf dog that needs rehoming, as they are a difficult breed to rehome. And that's also why I fully support having a safety network around this breed so we can avoid them being bred for fun and just end up euthanized. This is such a big topic and I feel like there are so many things to cover, and unfortunately there is no simple solution to how we avoid these issues. Dogs in shelters come from various of different backgrounds, and I just want to say I have the deepest respect for the people working there. Training these dogs to be rehomed can be a big task, and it just melts my heart seeing the efforts these people put into these dogs and cats and all animals. If you do not have a dog but really want one, please do your research, talk to ethical breeders and shelters, and see what fits you the most. All in all, we all love dogs, and let's just make sure to give them a perfect home and all the research, love, and treats they deserve. Remember, social media is not real, and hashtag make informed choices. Okay, bye. Mwah.